Thank you, Des. It was 2.5 years ago that Attilio Lombardo was manager of Crystal Palace for 1 month in the spring of '98. Remember who his assistant manager was? Thomas Brolin. It's an ill-fated team. Ron Nodes stepped in eventually, but that was in the Premiership. And there's his brother, the goal scorer, Freddie Ljungberg. Lombardo then for Stankovic, who, if he hadn't been brought off, you felt was going to be sent off. And Arsenal, who scored late in the second half a week ago, have scored late in the first half here, and are inside of another famous win at Highbury. When they moved out of Wembley with a less than 50% record, they promptly won 4 UEFA Cup ties in a row here last season, beating teams from France, Germany and Spain, and conceding only 1 goal in the process. And no Italian club has ever won. The Highbury legend grew a little more in the closing moments of last week's game, and it's growing again here. Henry. Mihailovic across. This is Negro, and here is Attilio Lombardo, who is 34 years of age now. Veron.
I think what they'll get from Lombardo, what that gentleman will get from Lombardo, is a sensible, disciplined performance. Certainly, you mentioned his age, but you know, he'll still have the stamina and energy to get up and down the sides.
Claudio Lopez. Here is Lombardo. Ljungberg is back there. Simeone was a rather subdued figure in the first half. Negro to Veron. Quickly under pressure from Henry. Dispossessed by Henry. Here goes Vieira. Ljungberg to his left. Brought down, was he, by Simeone. Referee was very close. No flag against Ljungberg. Hit against Nesta. And is it a corner or a goal kick? Goal kick.
You know what, I think the referee there played the yes-no interlude. He went on for ages, he looked at the lines when it was about 800 yards away, and then went as close as he could before he gave a goal kick.
All the linesman was prepared to confirm was that the ball had gone out of play. I think he knew that. Pankler run off the ball. Bergkamp looking to release Henry's pace with an early ball, which was slightly overhit. Negro's given it away to Ljungberg. Henry just eased Negro out of the way and was penalised.
Needs to be careful on that as well.
He's been yellow carded already, Thierry Henry. Him against Keogh.
Yeah, there's something going off there, isn't there? I mean, Inzaghi's muscling and trying to muscle the 2 big Arsenal central defenders, and you know, he's been in a match after today, but he seems game, you know, he keeps coming at them.
Negro. Veron. It's like a good Bronx middleweight, isn't he? Juan Sebastian Veron, undefeated in 55 fights. Here's Lombardo, clipped in towards Inzaghi, but picked off by Seaman at the near post.
Yeah, good situation that for Lazio. Some brilliant play by Veron, and I actually thought Lombardo should have produced a better ball.
Ljungberg bursting past Ferret. Here goes Henry against Nesta. That's one way around Alessandro Nesta via the ring road. Goal kick given.
Just trying to think, when was the last time those 2 played against each other? But I think Henry will prefer that when he gets the ball in areas. There they go again. When he gets the ball in areas when he can have a wide run of people.
Sylvain Wiltord, the 4th Arsenal forward, warming up, and Arsene Wenger has had all 4 on the field at once on a couple of occasions this season.
Don't think that'll be the case today, to be fair. I think it'd be 1-for-1.
Cano here finished as a defensive midfield player at Ipswich last week. Wasn't very defensive. Nesta. Negro. Veron. Seen a lot of the ball without really hurting Arsenal yet. Veron. One went astray too, and here's Bergkamp into the path of Luzhny. Cano unusually out on the touchline. Luzhny to Parla. Trying to accelerate past Mihajlovic, who seemed to block his progress. The referee was looking through bodies, didn't give anything. Lombardo. Claudio Lopez. Lombardo has Nedved to his left, Inzaghi making a run ahead of him. This is Pavel Nedved. In towards Simone Inzaghi, and he tried the clever backheel there, but it was well shepherded, well guarded. Luzhny maybe a little rashly conceding a corner. Just trying to step over that and flick it to the inside of his trailing foot there, Simone Inzaghi.
Total concentration from the Arsenal skipper though, wasn't it? Wasn't going to be fooled by it, wasn't going to buy it.
Big fortnight ahead for Tony Adams, for Arsenal and for England. Mihajlovic will take the corner. Emil Parla.
Tell you what, it does whip that ball in. I know the people in the middle may not appreciate that one quite so much. It was short, but it does whip it in. It's a bit ugly when it comes in at you as a defender.
Ankara is forward from the back. Dealt with by Adams. Nesta. Back out to Mihajlovic. Well, I think they had all three options covered there. Mihajlovic not quite as dangerous with his right foot. Sven-Goran Eriksson making his fourth visit to Highbury as a coach. He was beaten here 5-1 with Gothenburg 20 years ago, then put Arsenal out of the European Cup during his Benfica days, 1991, and then was beaten in a Cup Winners' Cup semi-final with Sampdoria 5 years ago. Offside. Steve Bold scored a couple of goals in quick time that particular night. Echoes of Keown's performance last week. He's had good clubs, Eriksson. Mihajlovic looking over the top for Claudio Lopez, but Adams and Keown have looked rock solid tonight. Luzhny just clipped.
To me, Oleg Luzhny, just looking at him, he seems very inhibited since he's played here. You know, I mean, he was a massive player when he played at Kiel. It's a shadow to me of the same player.
Into the semi-finals in '99 and the quarter-finals in '98 with Dynamo Kiev. Plenty of experience in this competition, the number 22 over there. Lombardo, a beaten finalist with Sampdoria at Wembley. He's had a great career. Veron. Negro. He was offside. Arsenal may just be a little bit more studied and circumspect now. They have that lead to protect. They've had a very exciting season, but there's no need for them to get carried away now that Arsene Wenger's team have got Lazio basically where they want them. Nedved. Lombardo, good challenge by Silvino. Good strong work by Ljungberg. Lombardo trying to get in behind Arsenal here, but he can't quite keep the ball in play.
I think what we saw there from Silvino and Ljungberg, though, sums up what this game's been about. Sheer competition, nobody allowed to dwell on the ball. You lose it, and the first thing you try and do is rectify your mistake, get back on the ball again, make it hard for the opponents.
Kanu. Mihailovic coming across just to help the ball back to his keeper. Latest score from Istanbul, and Rangers' unbeaten record in the competition thus far is in danger. Bülent has put Galatasaray ahead. Galatasaray 1, Rangers 0.
I certainly think Seaman, let's see what he does with this one, but he's certainly on his dead ball kicks this half has looked happier. He's getting a far more distance. And then they've had that little tactic once or twice. It's usually been the other way around, where Cano's flipped a couple on for Henry.
He was 37 earlier this month, David Seaman, but he's been in good nick the last few weeks. 10 years in the Arsenal team, 7 years in England regular, more than 500 top-level games. You can't dismiss that kind of experience lightly. Bergkamp. Accelerated into space, tried to jab it for Ljungberg! What a night he's having! 2 for Ljungberg, 2 for Arsenal, clear daylight between them and the Champions League favourites. Made by Bergkamp again.
Massive part by Bergkamp. He did well for the first goal. He's done even better here. And you know, there's a little thing before that. But look at this. Look at him driving run. Fed into his back. And there's a lot of determination in that. You've got Marco Gianni coming out as a spinner, strong keeper. You've got, I think it's Lombardo trailing him, making it hard. That's bravery and cool finish. But you know, for me, what was nice about that, prior to that, you know, Nesta was pulling away at the back of Cano's shirt. And then all of a sudden Lazio lost possession. I think Cano was almost entitled to a penalty there.
Arsenal are growing up in the Champions League. It was a steep learning curve in the first 2 years, but here they are, within touching distance of a third straight win at the start of this year's campaign. And what a scout Lazio would be.
This has got all the weight. This is quality of the ball. He threads it. He's got just enough quality on it. He makes him just slight favourite. Goes in terrifically brave Ljungberg.
The other match in this group is in Prague tonight, and it's currently Sparta Prague 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Neither of those sides registered a single point in their opening 2 games. So Arsenal are going to be in a very strong position at the head of the group if they can preserve this 2-goal lead, and Lazio's response is to bring on Marcelo Salas up front. Here's Claudio Lopez. Salas waits in the centre. It's longer towards Simeone. Simone Inzaghi is the player who's gone off incidentally. And there is Marcelo Salas, who almost left in the summer, who almost joined Manchester United 3 summers ago, whose place has been threatened by the arrival of Claudio Lopez and Hernan Crespo, but is still a rare talent, the Chilean international. Talking of rare talents, here's Cano. Silvino. Just overran it and showed enough of it to Nesta. Vero. Can Lazio respond? Pavel Nedved. He's been quiet tonight. Attilio Lombardo, who failed to get back with Ljungberg there. Ljungberg just had a bit too much energy for him, and Bergkamp had all the craft that was needed to set him up. Lombardo charged down by Vieira this time.
I'm just looking around how many Vieiras are on the field. At the moment, he's here, there and everywhere. I think he's immense.
Lombardo. Put clear by Silvino, a little wastefully to Veron. Claudio Lopez. Veron again. Lifted in towards Lombardo. Brave defended by Tony Adams. More bad news for Rangers fans from Istanbul. It's now Galatasaray 2, Rangers 0. Hakan Şükür has got the second goal for Galatasaray tonight. We're going to see those goals with Des and Terry after the match, and extended highlights of that game with Gabby and Barry at 11:30 tonight. Ljungberg. Oh, and a mistake by Nesta, and here's Kanu now with a chance to bury them, and Marcajani makes another wonderful save at the feet of Kanu of all people. Terrible mix-up.
Brilliant goalkeeping, Clive. Absolutely brilliant. But I tell you what, they're not as happy. Nesta's a super defender. I ain't too sure about the others, you know. Had big doubts about Mihailovic. Okay, you may think he's been dropped in it a bit by Nesta's square ball, but that is super keeping. You expected Kanu to do something magical, backheel it or something, flip it over his head. He's kept his eye on the ball, Marcajani.
Well, he can demoralise goalkeepers with his skill when he gets in those positions, Kanu, but Marcajani kept his eye on the ball and kept his courage and his wits about him and made a terrific stop, which has kept Lazio in the match. Kanu could have put them to bed there. Little more than an hour played. Arsenal, thanks to two Freddie Ljungberg goals either side of half-time, have a two-goal cushion. They have a free kick to defend, and Martin Keown with a yellow card to his name. Keown's second of the competition, one more, and he will be automatically suspended. Offside, Lombardo.
That's the difference. He's definitely wind assisted this half. And he can get the ball in behind, and that will suit Henry.
Martin Keown, who left the field to a standing ovation from the fans last week and walked into the dressing room from a similar ovation from his teammates for those two goals in the closing minutes, which may have been the springboard for what Arsenal are achieving here tonight. A home defeat to Shakhtar Donetsk would have been very difficult to take.
In a funny way, that might have worked for them. The way they came back, it might have given them that extra belief for this particular game.
Ljungberg. Silvino. It's almost as if Lazio have had it too easy in their two opening games. They won them both by 3-0. They've been a fairly plain outfit for a team of their reputation tonight. They've been competitive, as Terry was saying at half-time. Fairly careful in their approach, but there hasn't quite been the spark about their individuals that you might have expected from the likes of this man Nedved, from Veron, from the forwards ahead of them. Pancaro in towards Lombardo there. Jabbed away by Adams. Here's Kanu. Henry had pulled away to his right, foul by Veron.
Yeah, he's trying to hang on as long as he could, Kanu there, to give Henry the chance to get into a good run. He wanted to release it early, but Henry hadn't made his position, and Veron's helped him by giving him a free kick.
Parla. Ljungberg. Here's Luzhny. Ljungberg. Through to Bergkamp. Oh, he chipped the goalkeeper, but chipped the crossbar too. Audacious effort by Dennis Bergkamp, typically so.
Yeah, touch unfortunate here. They're looking for offside from the deflection. Stuck behind him, he can't really dig it out to get it over the keeper. I just wonder what Arsene Wenger's thinking now. Is he going to be content to sit here with the three attack-minded players who are causing problems when they get good possession? Or is he going to stick, say, Grimandi on or something like that? Isn't it? Where he's done well tonight, Wenger, in his team selection, he's picked some high energy in midfield.
Veron looking for his international colleague, Claudio Lopez, but Seaman was there. It's amazing, you know, Wenger's got these four fabulously talented forwards, whom he's paid a king's ransom. And the goals in the Champions League that have mattered so far have come from this man, Silvinho, in the opening game, the left back, from Martin Keown, his first goals at Highbury under Wenger, 2 in almost as many minutes at the end last week, and then after a 6-month drought, 2 from Freddie Ljungberg tonight. Lombardo to Negra. Simeone. Offside. Arsenal looked a little brittle at the back on occasions this season, unusually so, but they've looked like their old selves at the back tonight, haven't they?
Just thinking Silvinho tonight has almost been defensively Nigel Winterburn, hasn't he? He's taking his calls off Tony Adams for the offside.
Henry crashed into Nesta there. There's real aggression about Thierry Henry these days. Seems a different player from the one who played at Monaco and went to the semi-finals of this competition at Manchester United's expense 3 seasons ago. He was rather peripheral, wide player then. But it's Ljungberg who scored the goals. Nesta to Veron. He hasn't used the ball as well as I've seen him on occasion tonight, Juan Sebastian Veron.
Actually, his long ball passing's been a lot better than his little combination play. But I think if we kept talking about the shortcomings, if you like, of a Lazio side, in a way you're taking something away from an Arsenal side. And Arsenal played well tonight in terms of grit and in terms of doing a lot of hard basic work and producing when they've had to.
There's certainly no intention of doing that. It's been an outstanding performance. Pancro to Nedved. Parler clipped him there on the edge of the penalty area, and it's going to be a yellow card for Ray Parler.
Yeah, a bit unnecessary as well, because Nedved was running into traffic a little bit. There's still a couple of Arsenal defenders there with a shout of robbing him. And what he's done, he's built up a little bit of pressure. Because we know they have got good set players, and he's gone down a bit easy though, Nedved there, to be fair. But seems Varane drilled him for this, so Mihailovic can sort of get that, what they call an up and downer, past the keeper's left hand.
Looks like a right-footed free kick this to me, so it's more likely to be Veron.
Well, that keeper sees nothing from me. I mean, half a problem for a keeper when he's got people like that on the ball and bodies in front of him.
Veron takes through the wall, hit Keown, I think. Alongside Negra on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mihailovic. And Claudio Lopez is offside.
Just watching Tony Adams there tonight, I had little doubts about him because of his fitness level. He's been brilliant tonight. But what he's doing, when there's no pressure on the ball, when Lazio have got good possession in midfield and the strikers are running, he's going back in with them and marking. When there is pressure on the ball, they'll call the back line up and catch them offside.
He'd only started 15 club games this year prior to tonight, in the year 2000. He has had all kinds of problems, and they are lingering problems which have put lingering doubts in the back of his very positive mind about his future. But when he is at his best, he is just so influential both as a player and as a leader. That captain's armband is more than just an indication of his seniority at the club. It is an indication of the influence that he has over everybody else in the dressing room. Simeone knows the ball to run away from him. He's strong enough to resist Parler. But again, it's given away by Lazio in midfield. Arsenal keeping them under pressure, harrying them into those errors. One back by Salas, Simeone, Nedved. Looking for Salas. They're in control back there, they really are. Individually and collectively, the Arsenal defence have played well tonight.
I also think they'll have been very happy to see Inzaghi go off, you know, because he was a nuisance. He was zippy and he was sort of fighting his corner. At the moment, Salah certainly hasn't had a contribution.
Here's Veron, in towards Salas. Seaman is committed and Keown rather got in his way. Veron. Now in towards Claudio Lopez. Keown's header only as far as Salas. What a tackle that is by Tony Adams. Hit by Pankro, but a wonderfully timed lunching challenge by the Arsenal skipper.
That's brilliant, brilliant.
One Kevin Keegan will be enjoying this tonight. Arsenal's captain, his captain, back to his best.
That's been a big help for them. The second half has tried a spectacular one there, Bergkamp. But all of a sudden, like, Seaman's getting far extra length. Kanu's getting his share of flick-ons, and they're able to turn the back four quite comfortably now.
And the game's night in North London. Arsenal now playing with the wind at their backs. Talking Kevin Keegan, reminder that the next football on ITV is on Saturday week. Extended highlights at 5:20 on Saturday evening of England versus Germany. Details of all ITV's football and much more on our website at itv-football.co.uk.
You might have to start kicking those more on an angle, Stephen, so they run to the corners of the pitch instead of straight through to their keeper.
Mentioned that Kevin Keegan will be enjoying this. I think Sir Alex Ferguson might be enjoying it too. The fact that Arsenal have played 24 hours later and have had to field their strongest team against such strong opposition in a home game in the Champions League, and there's no chance for Arsene Wenger to start resting anybody here. They've worked too hard to earn the lead that they now hold to be thinking too much about Sunday's encounter in the Premiership with Manchester United. Another goal for Galatasaray in Istanbul tonight. Mario Jardel now has made it Galatasaray 3, Rangers 0. Rangers did hold a 3-point lead in that group going into tonight's game. It's about to be wiped out. Here comes Fabrizio Ravanelli, another familiar figure from the Lazio bench. Free kick given against Parla. Didn't keep it in, Nedved. Well, here he is. A man probably remembered in this country for the goals he scored for Middlesbrough in their relegation season, but at this level, Ravanelli's goal for Juventus against Ajax in the final of the Champions League in Rome in 1996 have more significance, and it's the first substitute, Attilio Lombardo, has been replaced.
Been limping badly just for the last few moments, though. I think we're probably, well, we're going to see Lopez occupy the right wing spot, and Ravanelli go up front with Salas.
Borough reject is the chant from some of the Arsenal fans. He played in this competition against Manchester United last season for Marseille. But the back injury, which we understand Lombardo suffered, has brought Ravanelli back onto centre stage here. Simeone. Strong play by Parla. It's been a strong Arsenal performance. They've really stood up for themselves tonight. Won by Henry there, far sharper. They won so much possession in the middle third of the field against rather ponderous Lazio players by comparison.
I think what's happened in the second half, they've managed to get the game stretched, which is a natural thing. The longer the game goes on, players can't quite cover the ground. But also the fact they've been able to hit a few more balls that have turned the last line of the Lazio defence. Oh, he's in!
Ljungberg looking for his hat-trick. And he's poked it. And the goalkeeper has had an excellent night, managed to respond. He didn't quite get the touch he needed there, Freddie Ljungberg.
I'm not sure that might not have been his best chance of the night, Lovely little flick, a little dummy. Now there you think, go on, take it forward to your left, but his first touch has just let him down.
Might have got a nudge too.
But that's what they're doing now. They're winning a lot of sharing balls and turning that back line.
Silvino's header giving Ljungberg another chance to run. Nesta caught him.
He's made the decision himself, Nesta. He knows he's taken him out.
The free kick has been given. So the referee recognised that it was a foul, but no card for Alessandro Nesta. Oleg Luzhny in towards Henry, just trying to glance that for Kanu. The latest score from the other match, incidentally, in this group, Group B tonight, is now Sparta Prague 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Ravanelli. Salas. Again, rather loose play. Claudio Lopez. Marcelo Salas. Lopez trying to get in behind Silvino. He was looking for a penalty. He was never going to get one. Is there an argument at all, Ron, for saying that they are just short of that top-level competitive match practice at the moment? Their league season doesn't begin till the coming weekend.
Could well be so, but you expect, you see Milan go and beat Barcelona yesterday and you think, well, hang on, their preparation's been right. No, I genuinely think tonight it's been a war of attrition early on, and I think Arsenal are reaping the rewards now for how hard they worked early on.
Kanu, Henry running ahead of him, Mihailovic just managed to reach it.
We'll be disappointed in their, if you like, their talented players not producing much. I think they've been not too clever at the back. I can hardly remember in the course of the game where any of the fullbacks, for instance, made a charge forward.
Vieira charging forward for Arsenal. He could go all the way here, Patrick Vieira. Poked into the path of Henry. Nesta eventually managed to get in a challenge, but Vieira has won it back for Parler, and here they come again with the two-goal hero, Freddie Ljungberg. Silvino. It was a teasing cross into the danger area. Nobody took a gamble on the edge of the 6-yard box. Here's Ljungberg again.
Is he the most improved player at the Arsenal? Silvino this year? He certainly has impressed me every time I've seen him.
Looking at another South American, Nelson Vivas, who's about to come on. Ljungberg.
Oh, scored a goal, have we? We've got a couple of goals under our belt now, everything will go in.
I don't think there's anybody in the Ljungberg household watching tonight, or they're all here, but if there is a mantelpiece there, maybe just start to clear a little bit of space, because there might just be a match ball coming that way. He's two-thirds of the way there. Parler, who scored a hat-trick last season in Europe, feeds Henry. Now Bergkamp. Here's Ray Parler again, in towards Henry. Lovely cohesion about Arsenal's approach play again there.
I think the energy in midfield, the driving, the hunting and hustling, and they've been so much quicker, those three. And
it's Dennis Bergkamp who's going to make way for Nelson Vivas. A lot of talk about him in the final year of his contract. He's had a good week, a winning goal at the weekend, 2 assists tonight. I wonder whether he'll go to Rome in 3 weeks' time. He drove to Florence for the Champions League game against Fiorentina last season. It's Nelson Vivas who will come on in his place. He can operate in midfield. Silvino. Adams is free here. The ball's in a hag in front of him, and instead of being able to attack the ball, he almost headed it at ankle height in the end.
Well, you talk about thoroughness as well, you know. He's been doing that for donkey's years, Adams, that one spin.
Not donkeys, yes, please.
Sorry, he's been doing it for a long, long time, that spin round the back. And the ball just didn't carry forward for him.
He's been a thoroughbred tonight, that's for sure. Mihailovic. He does take chances, and he was dispossessed by Vieira.
I think I'd sooner run into a tractor than Vieira. I tell you what, he is some player. He's starting to intimidate him a bit now.
Mihailovic, who was red, saw the red mist during Euro 2000 for Yugoslavia. He has a shorter fuse than most. Here's Nelson Vivas, who's still a part of the Argentine national setup. He was a substitute, funny enough, for Simeone in their last qualifier, the top of the South American qualifying group at the moment. Spent most of the second half of last season out on loan to Celta Vigo in Spain. Oh, how does that feel? Silvinho, Brazilian, taking the proverbial out of an Argentine international of some repute, Claudio Lopez.
See ya.
Very satisfied Arsenal bench. Pat Rice, who was part of the success over Lazio 30 years ago, there has been quite a bit of press for the fact that the away leg finished in a Barney in the street when Arsenal and Lazio players fell out at the banquet after the game. I think even the mild-mannered and college-educated Arsenal goalkeeper of the time, one Bob Wilson, got involved towards the end of it. Imagine the headlines that would make today. Latest score from Istanbul, it's now Galatasaray 3, Rangers 1. Andrei Kanchelskis has pulled a goal back for Rangers. There are conflicting stories of how soon Bob actually got involved in the fight. There was a suggestion that he arrived rather late in the day.
He sent for the police, played his party, rang for the police. Bertie Mee was involved as well, wasn't little Bertie?
He had to pull, well, he sort of hearsay, but had to pull Frank McClintock off a couple.
And that was only his own players. He'd have been first in Frank, wouldn't he?
Henry. Canu.
Well, on the word of fighting, you've got to say the spirit and the fighting presence, if you like, of the team tonight has been the major factor, I think. I mean, you usually associate Cano and Henry with great silky skills and flowing movement, but their work tonight's been phenomenal.
Heroes all over the field. Adams has been immense. Ljungberg, obviously, with his goals and his energy, has had a marvellous game. Bergkamp, before his departure, contributed a lot of craft, particularly in the creation of the two goals. Adams to Ljungberg. Here's Cano. Adams is motoring forward now in search of a goal of his own. He's ahead of Henry for the moment. Away by Negro, long way back now, Tony. Veron to Claudio Lopez. Parra was there.
Just about to make the point on Parra. He started off the game a bit. He was fighting and scrapping, giving the ball away a lot, I thought, Parra. But the longer the game's gone on and on and on, particularly this half, he hasn't half got involved.
First taste of European football this season for this man, Ray Parra. Henry, clever little turn. Couldn't get away from Nesta, who somehow won a free kick there. Maybe Henry had a little tug at him, and I think he's about to be replaced by his fellow countryman Sylvain Wiltord. Here comes Wiltord, who made all the headlines as a substitute in the summer with the French international team. Henry at least will get an extra 6 or 7 minutes of rest in preparation for Manchester United's visit on Sunday. Wiltor, who forced the golden penalty in the Euro 2000 semi-final and then got the last-minute equaliser in the final, both as a substitute, comes on in that role tonight. Ljungberg's goals after 43 and 56 minutes are the difference between Arsenal and the team who certainly started the night as the favourites to win the Champions League, Lazio.
You know, I wonder if Arsene Wenger, if he's given him any further thought about the possibilities of playing more games with the front three he's played with tonight. Certainly he can back them up with 3 midfield players of high energy behind them, particularly when Vieira's back. What's he got, one more game?
Vieira just completes his suspension. We'll be watching the United game here on Sunday. But despite their blip in Eindhoven last night, they're still in a good position in their group. Leeds United are in a position which few of us envisaged in their group. Rangers are having a tough night of it in Turkey tonight, but are still going to be joint leaders of that group. And here are Arsenal now, within sight of having a 3-point lead at the top of Lazio's group. But here's Sinisa Mihajlovic to make them think carefully. And they've got Keown back on the line here, protecting Seaman's right-hand post. Now he's coming off, a little bit concerned about the offside. Mihajlovic, that's what he can do. That is what he can do.
You know, it's one of my hobby horses, isn't it? People on the line. I think here, Seaman hasn't had to move. He's moved and made a great save, but he knows he's defending that half of the goal. He knows that side's looked after. Very often you see the keeper in that position start to go the other way.
Ravanelli with a little flick. There's a flick there off the wall on the way through to Seaman, incidentally. Nedved with the shot. I think it was Nedved actually got a slight touch on the free kick from Mihajlovic. It made it an even better save from Seaman.
But the number of times you see keepers who leave a blank space from free kicks start to shift that way. He knows his responsibility is to defend that half of the goal. Good organisation. Full marks. You know, the old argument is, well, people will push in on top of you and make it hard for you. It's hard enough already. You've got to deal with the first problem, which is Mihajlovic's shirt.
Veron. Lucy didn't cut that one out. Made too many mistakes back there tonight. That one's not going to be punished.
A little bit fortunate. At one stage, he almost handballed it. He managed to pull his arm out the way in time.
Arsene Wenger has just passed his 4th anniversary of the first game that he had in charge of Arsenal, which ironically was a European exit in Mönchengladbach. Hasn't got past the first stage of the major European competition they've been entered for in 4 attempts, but at the 5th time of asking, having almost won the repechage last season, the UEFA Cup. His team of certainly 9 points would put them inside of qualification for the second phase.
I know people have theories and all sorts, but I tell you what, Lazio would have loved tonight to be coming here to play, not coming here, but it would have been loved to be come to play at Wembley.
They've enjoyed Highbury, haven't they?
Oh, they can get a good atmosphere on top of them as well. You know, the crowd will seem a lot more on top of them. Certainly they would at Wembley, or will do in the Olympic Stadium in Rome.
Svenny, I was down in the dressing room area prior to the game, and Dejan Stankovic came into a small room halfway up the very tight Highbury tunnel, which is actually our interview room, looking for somewhere just to warm up and do his stretches, and he was complaining a bit because there was no room in the dressing room. And I was explaining to him that it is a very old stadium, a listed building in actual fact, and it's maybe not quite, in terms of those facilities, what Lazio are used to, but it has great atmosphere, a great surface, and Arsenal and their supporters have a great affinity with this place. Now can they round off the evening in style in the last 90 seconds? Silvinho. Adams beyond the far post. Back towards Sylvain Wiltor. Adams is...
Tell you what,
he was offside.
He knows the offside rule well. I expected him to put his right arm up.
had the experience, the learning experience of the last 2 years and reached the UEFA Cup final last season. Is this a team now which would have to be regarded as a contender to win this competition?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I actually fancied them a little bit last year. I thought they underachieved last year. I fancied them a little bit to do very well last year in it, and I do now.
Sven-Goran Eriksson's team will still be contenders too, but they've been deservedly beaten here tonight. The return fixture in Rome's Olympic Stadium is nearly 3 weeks away. In the meantime, the Italian League season starts upon Sunday when a rested Manchester United come here. The next round of World Cup qualifiers begin the following weekend in Europe and South America. No rest for the wickedly talented. 3 extra minutes for them to toil through now.
I'll tell you what they can expect, though. It just shows tonight how important Adams is to them. Because he's organisational, his captaincy, his experience. But when they get back to the Olympic Stadium, I think they'll expect far better. Certainly Eriksson, Sven-Goran Eriksson will expect far better performances.
Crespo should be fit for that game. Peruzzi, the goalkeeper, should be fit for that game. Favalli, the left full-back, should be fit for that game.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of people.
Ljungberg.
He'll be lucky for that. He's done it again. That's cynical, I think.
Nesta it is.
He tends to referee games as well, Nesta. That's a couple of occasions he could have got into the book. But when you look at the likes of Claudio Lopez, who we saw play so well last year for Valencia, and quite frankly, Salas has looked awful. Maybe 1 or 2 different performances there, but by then Arsenal could well have had it sewn up and they could have grown in confidence themselves and will fancy it themselves.
And they'll have Robert Pires fit by then too. Pancaro. Ravanelli. Simeone. Looking for Salas. Adams is there once more. Luzhny down to Keown. They certainly had their act together in defence tonight, Arsenal.
Yeah. I don't know, I think they've been protected well by the 3 in front of them now. They've been tigers, the 3. And this little fella.
Paolo Di Canio. There's a final party trick to round off the show. Vivas accelerating forward to his right.
He hasn't measured his pass. It's a great pity. I would have thought if Cano had done one. Oh, he's done one. He's done one of his tricks.
Vivas. Vieira. Might still come from Wiltor. He's onside here, Sylvain Wiltor. He's Ran Mihailovic. Gianni really has improvised well tonight, the goalkeeper.
That would have been icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Another goal there. I was just waiting for one moment of Cano. So
you got it.
You got it.
You got it. And Bob Wilson, who's on the staff here at Arsenal, looks after David Seaman's training, was saying that they were talking in the coach's room the other day about the way he moves the ball around outside his feet, almost like an ice hockey player moves the puck around. He's got these huge feet, and yet so much control and finesse and touch with them. There's some happy conversation in that coach's room tonight. Some very, very happy Arsenal fans who've seen their team extend their perfect record at the start of this Champions League campaign, thanks to 2 goals, one either side of half-time from Freddie Ljungberg, against a team who started the night as favourites to win the Champions League. So many pluses and bonuses all around the field for Arsenal, but the biggest plus and the biggest bonus of all is the final scoreline. It's Arsenal 2, Lazio 0. We'll be back with Des and Terry in just one moment.